We're going to start, and this should not surprise you. This is who we have been affectionately referring to as the 2019 Pat Mahomes, not to be confused with the actual 2019 Pat Mahomes, who we had also really loved to have. But Baker Mayfield, he's the quarterback on our all-in team, and we're 29 spots higher than the experts on Baker. We've talked about him a little bit, not a little bit, a decent amount. In our post-Super Bowl podcast, obviously the acquisition of Odell Beckham, much improved, personnel in the backfield. Why? I mean, those are some of the reasons. How much do you love this guy? Where do you put him on your board? Why do you think the experts are so much lower on him than you?
I mean, that's a tough question to answer. I don't see what there isn't to love other than the fact that he's not fully proven like was the case against Pat Mahomes last year. There's risk in the unknown. There's no real risk in my opinion here. I think this guy is going to be an absolute monster. And the only reason before I get into that, dude, how sad is it, though, that none of us are probably going to own Pat Mahomes because we don't take quarterbacks that early? Like, we've only had 1 year of it, and now it's over.
It's too bad. The only time that I can think of with us jumping like that for QB is when you and I went into that high-stakes league together, and Cam Newton was around in like the third or fourth round. We were like, let's do it, and he was terrible. And I will never do. I never have and never will do that again. But Baker's a guy that I will reach for compared to his price. I'm 29, 30 spots higher than him in the rankings because and this was before even Odell gets there, and now I'm just all in completely head over heels for this guy. And I know more people will be bumping up their boards. They have been bumping up their boards, and I'm still 6, 7 spots higher than the experts because he's up to number 2 in my quarterback rankings. As high as we were on Mahomes, I kind of made that mistake of not going fully all in, and he was right around my 7 or 8 QB, which was still 10 spots higher than the experts. But I want to just make that statement. There's no one else I'd rather have than Baker Mayfield outside of Mahomes, so it's going to be Baker Mayfield that I have on all my teams in 2019 because he's not going to come at that third-ish round price, maybe second round. Who knows? Mahomes might be a first rounder at this point. I loved before he even got Odell there. I loved Freddie Kitchens carrying over. He exploded last year for a 4,500 pace under Freddie Kitchens after going for like a 3,300 pace under Hugh Jackson. He knew how to use him the right way. They took more deep shots. He's got the second-rated number 2 deep ball in Pro Football Focus's deep passer rating, and that was when he was throwing to like Rashard Higgins and Antonio Callaway down the field because we know Jarvis Landry wasn't chugging down there. So I mean, to put up those stats with that type of weaponry, and then you add in Odell Beckham, maybe the most explosive weapon in the entire game right now, one of the best deep threats we've seen and potentially ever in this game, but he's been just withering with friggin' Eli Manning's ducks sailing over his head. Those two are just going to be a match made in heaven, fantasy heaven, every heaven that you've ever thought about. So the surrounding talent upgrades with the best weapon in the game right now, Odell, getting there with the Freddie Kitchens, plus then they add Todd Monken, who called the second heaviest deep passing rate last year. Both Jameis Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick were the top 2 in yards per attempt and deep yardage, deep air yards per attempt last year. So we got the Air Coryell with Kitchens, we got the Air Raid with Monken, we got the elite talent all there. All of this is just, with the deep arm of Baker Mayfield, what a perfect marriage. Just one of those things where you just see all the stars aligning. We laid it out time and time again last year with Mahomes. Look at all these stars aligning, the talent, the deep arm, the play calling. All of that's in place for Baker Mayfield. There's no way I see this guy throwing for under 4,900, 5,000 yards or so and 30 to 40 touchdowns. This guy's going to be a fucking monster. I can't wait. All in.